while I am very happy to admit I'm not the target audience for Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, I do have to admit that I just cannot resist a bit of Mickey and Donald Duck, particularly Donald Duck. And it occurred to me that I'd never actually analysed Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. I think I did a review on this show about 10 or 11 years ago from the perspective of enjoyment, I guess. But I kind of wanted to watch it and sit down and first of all see if I still liked it, which I can say I do, and also to see kind of how educational it actually feels. And I'm very impressed with this. So this was actually the first episode, Daisy Bo Peep, which is a pretty cute name, was released in 2006 on Disney Channel. I believe it's now a Disney Junior show, but I think it's probably also on elsewhere. And this episode was directed by Rob LaDuca and written by Bob Gannaway and Leslie Valdes. And this obviously focuses on our core Disney characters, Mickey Mouse, Minnie, Goofy, Pluto, Donald, and Daisy. And in this particular episode, Daisy is looking after 10 sheep for her friend Little Bo Peep. And things have gotten a little bit out of hand, and all 10 sheep have absolutely disappeared. And the aim of the episode, which lasts, I think it's about 20 minutes if I'm not mistaken, that might be an exaggeration, but it's certainly a decent length. It's not as short as I thought. The point of this is for them to find the sheep, and everybody's being a team player, everybody's on board. It's a really great little story to show friendship and teamwork. It's also a very good episode for learning to count, because there are 10 sheep. And of course this is aimed at kind of preschool children, early primary school children. As they're counting the sheep, they often go over the numbers. There are 10 pictures of sheep on the screen sometimes, so it can be visualised. There's also some education about shapes. There's a particular scene, I won't spoil it all, just in case you want to watch it, because there are reasons why I like it, which I'll talk about in a moment. But there's one particular scene where there's a sheep hiding behind some hedges, and the hedges are all different shapes: circle, square, triangle, etc. And Mickey is naming the shapes and encouraging interaction with the audience. And that's something else that's really great with this. Mickey does break the fourth wall, which I always find really weird when a cartoon character breaks the fourth wall, but he does talk to the audience. He does ask them questions and then kind of speaks back with what he assumes the young child is shouting or screaming at the television, which I think is really great. It makes it all more interactive, and I think the only program that I watched like that was Sooty. I can't really think of any other shows from my childhood that I watched a lot where the fourth wall was broken, apart from, things like Art Attack and things where there's an actual presenter. So it's really interactive and it works very well. The animation style, now, I do prefer 2D animation, especially with Disney. It feels more classic, it feels more natural. But I have to say, the quality of the 3D animation here is really brilliant. It really is fantastic. It's crisp, it's sharp, the colours are vibrant. Donald Duck looks amazing. I just love the blue colour of Donald Duck's outfit, and I think it stands out really well. What I will say about Donald, but we also have an incredible voice cast, which I'll talk about in a moment. What I will say about Donald is that his speech is much clearer here than in pretty much every other short or film that incorporates Donald. And to begin with, I was like, oh, you're speaking too clearly, you're enunciating too much. But then I thought, well, actually, it's better that the young child can understand what he is saying, rather than feeling like they don't have a clue what's going on. Wayne Allwyn voices Mickey Mouse, brilliant Mickey Mouse. Russi Taylor and Bill Farmer voice Minnie and Goofy respectively, and they've got the voices nailed, across the board. Daisy is voiced by Tress MacNeille, and Donald by Tony Anselmo, and the voices sound exactly as they should, with the slight exception of Donald, but the voice still sounds the same. He's just enunciating more, and that may seem not that impressive, but to be honest, I have seen some, not many, but some Disney shorts that are a bit more contemporary that just sound so weird, where the voices do not sound like what you have in your head. Getting the voice cast for this Mickey and Friends is really important, and I think they nailed it here. The only thing I don't like is I do like it. I like the theme song, when he says Mickey, M-O-U-S-E, but it's not the classic M-I-C-K-E-Y M-O-U-S-E. It's not the classic Mickey Mouse song. Obviously, they've made their own song for this. It's quite good. It's quite catchy. But I just, when they start spelling out Mickey's name, I want to start marching and, joining the leader of the gang. So I wish they'd kind of not spelled out his name. But again, educational. A child echoing these words can instantly spell Mickey Mouse. And if that's the first word they learn to spell, then absolutely fantastic. There are some words in here that are a bit unusual, such as miska muska, but I think that means Mickey Mouse in Russian. I googled it. I got some contradictory answers, but I think that's what it means. The concept of toodles is a little bit unusual and not necessarily the most interesting aspect, but I guess it gives it an even more kind of, repetitive action. So this will feature in every single episode, and the child watching it will be able to look out for it and engage with it and guess what tool they're going to use that day, which makes more sense when you watch the episode. So even though I'm not the target audience, because I adore Donald and Mickey, etc., it's very good fun. Analysing it from an educational perspective, I think it's pretty brilliant. It does teach counting, shapes, spelling, I guess memory with toodles and with each episode going to bring up the wheel and children can maybe guess what tool will be used. I think that aspect works well. It's quite funny. There's a scene where Pluto is pretending to be a sheep. It's engaging in that way. Mickey talking to the audience makes it feel more involved and immersive, almost like parenting through television. Most of us were brought up watching television, and to have that interaction with Mickey makes it not a one-sided activity. And I think that that's pretty brilliant. CGI quality is amazing. Even though I prefer 2D animation, it does look fantastic. Honestly, I think it's pretty brilliant, and I can see why it's popular. I can see why it's done so well over the years. And I probably will watch the other episodes and review them from an analytical perspective, of course. But I'm not going to lie. I may be about to turn 30 years old, but Mickey Mouse and Friends will always have a special place in my heart. And thanks to Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, I can bring that into this century.